This video is for two kinds of people who are going through a breakup. Either you tend to overwork yourself or you tend to get too attached to the idea of just healing. So, number one, for those who are the overworkers, okay, working constantly to keep yourself busy and keep them off your mind is actually not a bad strategy, okay? If you're in denial, that's a different story, which is like completely normal in the initial stages of a breakup. But you have to come to terms with it and accept it at least one time. At the end of the day, you have to actually sit with yourself and cry it out and ask yourself what happened. Talk to someone, journal, but just make sure there's a time in the day at least where you're coming home to yourself. Now, you may also be in the group of people who are already doing this and yet you are just overworking yourself. I was one of those people who was overworking, but you can't just be busy to be detached. You need to have something that gives you actual joy. Like something that keeps you occupied is level number one. But now think about your ex for a second and you will realize they kept you occupied, but not just occupied, they kept you occupied with a very good feeling. And that's why people always say that after a breakup, you should try and find yourself and find what you truly like. You should find your passions and experiment. Because, and I bet on this, if you're doing a job you don't even like, it's going to be much harder for you. Versus if there's a person who is overworking on their passion, while even that is not fully healthy, that is still much better. Because guess what? They're creating that love or their passion in their lives in some way. And if you don't have a passion yet, make your passion finding your passion in life by experimenting with as many things as possible. Even if you're doing your job on the side, find some time in the day to find your passion. Just experiment. Now, for those like me who do have passion and are working on something they're already passionate about, listen, you're still working. You're constantly working to keep yourself engaged. You're not allowing yourself any rest or any enjoyment before that person comes in your life again. But the trick here is to create that enjoyment, that recreation, and that rest in your life even while they're gone. I realized after my breakup that I was the type of person who had a passion, who was very dedicated to herself, her journey, everything. But the only way in which I would rest or in which I would allow myself to truly rest without feeling guilty was when I was talking to him. So when I gave time to him, I was technically actually resting and not feeling guilty for it. And that's where I realized that to have genuine hobbies is important. Something that I'm not secretly trying to monetize or convert into my work. So, what I did here was I converted my creative hobbies, my passion into something I wanted to monetize. And I realized that right there was the problem. I was constantly working. Even with my passion, there was some pressure on it. And that's when I decided to intentionally create time for hobbies in my daily routine, and it just got much better. I stopped overworking. I realized that I have to make time for myself and I have to keep myself occupied. But just because I have to keep myself occupied doesn't mean I constantly have to keep myself busy with just working. Now, the people on the other side of the spectrum, those who tend to overdo the healing and well they get so stuck on the healing that they're unable to move forward. They just think about that person the entire day, or they're just too much in this idea of I don't deserve love until I heal, or like they think that getting over a breakup is a full-time commitment and they can't work until and unless they're over it. Okay, listen, the breakup pain will heal with time, when the time is right. I know you don't want to hear this. I know, because a lot of people out there just think that it will heal with time, but it doesn't heal. You have to give it time. And I'm telling you, you're already giving it the required amount of time, actually, more than the required amount of time. The key here is to find a balance. There are actually two parts of emotional regulation. Emotional regulation means emotional release and emotional suppression. What I mean by this is being able to control your emotions in the appropriate context. That means that holding them back, for example, in a public place, you can't be openly displaying your emotions. That's emotional suppression. And in other cases, when you're alone, you need to release every emotion to feel okay. That's emotional release. Both are a part of emotional regulation, not just emotional releasing. And right now, you're only releasing. So, the key for you is to set a specific time in the day to heal. Be like, before 7 p.m. in the day, I'm not going to think about healing. I'm going to keep myself occupied, have a routine, and have a life. So that way, your healing is happening, but it's contained. You have time to think about them, but it's contained. So you're committed to your healing, and at the same time, it's not spreading to the rest of your life. Okay, guys, I hope this helped. By the way, this is a short series that I'm creating, which is going to be 5 to 10 minute advice videos. They're not going to be part of the bi weekly uploads on my channel. These are some extra uploads I'll make. These will be very short, to the point realizations like this one. No major editing, nothing, just the message conveyed. I'll be answering very specific questions in these kind of videos. So, yeah, like, subscribe if this helped. Let me know what are the questions you want me to answer, and I'll do it for you. See you next week with my main upload. Bye.